What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is the 12th of May, 2015. You're halfway through your week. I hope you have been sidestepping the negative, keeping your feet grounded, and speaking your truth. But I happen to be on uh, Facebook, and I've noticed how there is such a, how can I say this? There's been a lot of energy put out there in regards to people taking it upon themselves to disrespect our national flag. And I thought about it and I said, I think it was Abe Lincoln that said it best, and I could be wrong, said, a divided house can't stand. And the more and more I thought about it, I I started to see what's really under attack. See, y'all don't realize that for quite some time, your perceptions have been under attack. That's right, they have. There's money there because you'll come to also understand that when you don't have sound mind, when you're not grounded, you tend to spend more money because you're in flux. Because there's a emotional trigger connected to it. Think about it. Think about every time that you allowed yourself to get upset or something was brought to your attention, what the end result was. You ended up spending some money, right? That's right. It's because your perceptions are under attack. And I'm going to turn that corner. There's a reason why I'm putting this video out because, you know, it it does sadden me that this generation, they have a voice and they want to express it. But the same tactics is no different when a baby that has a tantrum. See, a baby can't get your attention until it acts out, right? It's the same effect. But here's a problem with that. Because, see, yes, we have the right for free speech. Yes, we have the right to assemble. But what, I feel really passionate about this, y'all, so bear with me. But what goes underlined is the fact that, you know how it is when you're at work and there's always somebody that wants to have the Debbie Downer approach. They don't want to see the positive in anything that you do. And what do? You kind of navigate around them as best as possible because you don't want to feel that energy. You don't want to have anything to do with it. Let's call a spade a spade. But what's really sad about that is this. Granted, you have a right to your opinion, but if your opinion is negative and you don't have an uh, an option, what's the point on having an opinion? Because it's not going to change anything. It actually will make it worse. But what's really troubling is the fact that, and I'm not going to put the full weight of responsibility on this generation per se, but they have a lot because they're ill informed. So I'm going to pick my words very, very carefully. My younger generation, I know you're frustrated. I know you don't like the world as you see it. And you see a lot of things that you desire to be fixed. But you know that old parable that goes something like, why? Don't worry about what your neighbor's yard look like if you're not governing yourself. That is very true. Because if you're not allowing yourself to be still, to look at your insecurities, to look at the things that you need to change, it's futile. It doesn't make any sense. So let's go back to Old Glory. Do you realize every time that you make a conscious choice to disrespect your flag, many things come out of it? Number one, you have those who are not a part of the United States. You project an image of instability. You actually give them fuel to say, look, see, I told you. See, look, look. Number two, every time that you make a point to act in that regard, you basically have spit in the face of every person that you've come in contact with that has made the choice to take that oath, don that uniform, grab that bag with the uncertainty that they'll return. So let's peel that onion back a little bit more. What I mean is, you're basically saying that your grandfather, your grandmother, your sister, your father, your mother, your best friend, or whoever that may be part of your association, that the choice that they made not only was not in their best interest, but was foolish. But here's the kicker on that. Remember, I just said there's a price in your instability. I meant it. Because look at our moral fabric. Look at your day to day. I ain't got to remind you. Look outside your window. You know what your day to day looks like. But you know who stays winning right now? There is a select few. And that select few is making money off of your fear. They're actually the ones that are beating the drum. They're the ones that are perpetuating that anguish that you feel inside you. And guess what? They're starting their day with a big smile. They're looking at the stocks as they keep going. And they're also using that as an illustration to their young for an example of what not to do. See, y'all, a divided house can't stand. And I can go a little deeper on this, and I'm just going to say that because this is my video. I believe because a house can't stand and is also divided because guess what? God's not there. So if God's not there, it's not blessed. It is just a temporary structure to fall. But let's look at it from a speculative point of view. See, it's no secret. There's endless resources off of fear. Yes, it is. Because guess what? The more unstable you become, guess what happens? That just fuels motivation for that guy to go to that gun shop and buy those rounds. That just fuels for that woman to step out of her house because and have protection on her because she feels unsafe in her community. But guess who doesn't have to shoulder the brunt of that responsibility? The media. Yes. Think about it. The media has such an impact on your life on a day-to-day level that it's one of the main supports of your perceptions. See, if I can't influence you here, I can't get the outcome here. So let's go back. There's a lot of things that needs to be fixed in our community. I'm a firm believer that all things can change. Each one teach one. But if you're not willing to ground your feet, look inside yourself, take accountability for your choices, you're not going to grow. You're not going to have the understanding that you deserve. So when you make a conscious decision to act and protest, because you have that right to do, just remember every step that you take on that flag is a slap in the face for everyone who's chosen to protect that right. That's right. That's right, y'all. Let's not get it twisted. You wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for Johnny sitting in that trench out there. Little Susie, who just spent 9 months away from her child. But see, I get that too because far too many times we allow that media to more or less inundately convince you that you can relate. Nobody will never understand your testimony unless you convey it. They'll never be able to walk in your shoes. That's why it's very important to have compassion, to have empathy, to have understanding, and also agree to disagree. But you got to be able to sit down at the table. You want change? You got to be able to listen. You got to be able to find common ground. But just know this. Nothing that you see in your reality right now would have ever came to this point if it was not planted in your perception. Think about it. If that reporter wasn't out there, if that cameraman wasn't filming, he wouldn't be eating because you wouldn't have a story. But we all know this. I ain't got to remind you. You look on the news. How often is it good? Why? Because it is emotional conditioning. See, if I can plant the seeds of fear in your perceptions, it's just a matter of time that your habits will reflect. That's what cause and effect is all about. But let's bring it back to home. My younger generation, you didn't start these problems, but you're going to have to deal with them as you mature, as you grow. And let's make no bones about it, y'all. And I'm not making a light about it. See, until we decide to sit down at the table, what you don't realize is in the wee hours, there's bills and laws being passed that are set up to take away your civil liberties. Yes, that's why when you look at the bylaws of the flag, it tells you right off the bat, you're not supposed to burn it. You're not supposed to disrespect it. You're not supposed to do that because there's blood on that flag. Many of people died for that flag. Keep that in mind. Because every time you make a conscious decision to say this or that, and you don't have a solution to change it, you just validate it with the people that are on the way teams, their whole validation. You're smarter than that, y'all. You're smarter than that. And oh yes, guess what? If you don't realize, hasn't it kind of been a trend the last 6 months? And guess who benefits from that? Guess. Everybody that is invested in promoting the agenda. So you got to understand something, y'all. And what I mean by this is this, and I'm going to wrap this up. You got people that look just like you, that they don't care about your happiness. They don't care about where you live. They don't care about your family. They don't care about nothing. They just care about your money because they think that you're controllable. That's why they deliberately put what they put, waiting for you to just eat it up. So my younger generation, I'm going to put this out and I'm going to say this. Stop disrespecting yourself. Stop disrespecting your lineage. Because I'm a firm believer. I know that you know somebody right now that's either taking those boots off or putting them on. That could be your father. That could be your mother. That could be your great-grandfather. And those sacrifices made the foundation of what you know is today. But if you're not willing to speak your truth, what's the point of having your opinion? You got some people that just don't want you to grow. And they know that is nothing but a distraction anyway. So if I can keep you focused on over here, I can run this to the backside and you won't even see it. A divided house can't stand. But if God ain't in it, it's not blessed. Come on, y'all. You gotta love yourself. Respect yourself. Speak your truth. You know, it's kind of funny. I'm just blown away because you look on any social media that's out here. You know what you see? You see a gang of advertisement too. So guess what? They're making money off of you too. They like it when you're influxed. They like it when you're walking around unstable because they like making money off of your hard work. Stop disrespecting yourself. Stop disrespecting your family's name. But more importantly, stop disrespecting your nation. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, for that, for that, it helps me discern mine. You know what? We've got trials and tribulations. But you know what? I'd rather be here than somewhere else. Last time I checked, I ain't seen no planes. Nah, Stop disrespecting your home and your people. Start loving. Stay blessed.